All right. So the conversation is on what are some of the key things that you have to pay attention to as you structure a lecture. That is the most important thing that I just want us to discuss. How do you actually structure a lecture? Okay. How do you structure a lecture? Regardless of the name of the course, you must learn how we structure a lecture. That is very important for you. Learn how to structure a lecture. Let me get it from you if you are able to see the screen. Are you able to see the screen that I am writing?
Yes.
How to structure a lecture. And the following are the keynotes, okay? Or these are the major things that you need to make sure you are very much alive to. Number one, the focus here is on how do you structure a tutorial where you are tutoring people, not really where you are just lecturing students, but when you are tutoring students. It's very important to go through, as the first thing that you do, you go through the past paper questions. You go through the past paper questions. Yeah, you can go through the past paper questions. And after you have gone through the past paper questions actually deeply, you can choose a relevant question from there. Choose a relevant question or questions. Now, but what do I mean by relevant question or questions? What I do mean by relevant question or questions, I know that you have already maybe seen your course outline. You know what you're supposed to cover. You know some of the things that you're supposed to teach. So when you are selecting the questions to use as examples or for the basis of illustrations, you may not just choose any question or anyhow, or maybe choose the question that is in the last topic, you know. You have to be organized and be so systematic in the way how you select these questions. For example, on the course outline, if the course starts with the, let me say, you want to look at the sources of law, just for example, sources of law. It's one of the things that you need to cover. What you do, first of all, you've known the topic, but you have to go through the questions to look for a question that speaks about the sources of law. Is there any exam question that it could be under Zika, SIMA, anywhere, as long as is the source of the question is a relevant source and dependable? You display the question, and when you go through that question, what that does, it just validates what you're going to be talking about. So if you have shared the question, and once you have shared the question, then that is very right. People will know that you really understand and you are leading them in the right direction. This is very important. So I get the question more often. I would actually encourage you to be on the ground, like find a question or just a question that is related. You may not find the exact question, but at least a question that is related, that can be restructured to suit what you want. You should have the capacity to restructure the questions in terms of the commanding words in the question so that it can suit what you want to deliver to the students, and then deliver what you are delivering. When you use the questions, or the basis upon which you set your lectures is from the questions, the students shall have confidence on what you will be talking about. When you are done going through the questions, you have found the questions, then now, using the questions, you can go look for answers to the questions, okay? you can go ahead and look for answers to the what? To the questions. Find the answers to that question. And as you answer the question, be holistic and make sure you answer the questions to the real depth. Yeah. Answer the questions to the real depth. And by answering what I mean, I'm not saying you get the question, then you pre-write the answers and start reading. Like answer the questions, present, impact understanding in the people. That is very important. That is very important. Answer that question. That's how you prepare for a lecture. Then once you have done answering that question, you have answers to that question. You have known how you would answer it successfully and how you would want your students answer. Then if you want 2 days before the class, though that is optional, you may send the questions to them that these are some of the questions that you're going to be looking at. If you don't want to send a question, you may even tell them the topic that you're going to be talking about, though that is option 2. What that does, it prepares the mind. It shows the students that you are prepared on what to talk about. You don't just come in class, you don't plan what to say. You always have a plan on what you want to say. There is always a plan. Okay. Am I audible enough or I'm logged out already? Any confirmation if you can hear me? There's no one answering. Anyone
Yes.
can turn on their mic.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Anyway, this is nice because I'll use this as part of illustration when I teach you the techniques of delivery. Quote the question papers and show questions on screen before start answering. Quote the question papers, and this is where you have to be very careful. Question papers and show questions on the screen. Okay. Why should you quote the question papers? Let me go back and I show you what I'm talking about. Want to search for a document. I am showing an illustration. This is just an illustration. Okay. Just an example so that you may understand how we go about these things. You see? When I come, I will say, today we want to consider a past paper question or a question that came in a certain year, not really a certain year. Let me just mention the name of the year anyways. For example, have you seen this? This is the question that we want to consider. Okay, this is the question that we do want to consider. And if we want to consider this question, what we are going to do in considering this question, number one, we will make sure that when you share the question on the screen, if anything, if the question especially is from the same university where the students that you're tutoring coming from, it's better you show on the screen, show also the year number. That gives confidence, okay? That does give confidence to the students. I will repeat that point one more time. Let me just repeat the point one more time for those that might not been there, that might not have been there. I repeat, when you are sharing the question on the screen, hello, are you saying something? The line is cutting. I am unable to get. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I am not getting what is being said. All right. It is well. Let's do this now. I was just from saying you have to display the question on the screen, for example. Get the question on the screen. Let me show you how you would go about this. Just an example on the issue of how we share the questions. You go back to the question. Let me just, so what is this? Let me just start from company. This was an assignment. Okay. This was an assignment, right? And you caught the year number. You've seen, you've shown the assignment on the screen. You say, today, colleagues, even before you start the class, if you want, as you are still waiting for others, the first thing that you do, show on the screen before you do anything. Leave the question just on the cover page like this. Okay. That entices the students that when they just come and log in into the class, they will know that today we are dealing with past paper question. This is a very serious thing that we are doing. Leave it on the cover page just like that. Then when you start speaking, you tell them, today we are going to do what? We continue doing the past paper questions. It's very important. The past paper questions, they help you to have an idea of what you are going to be or what to expect in exams. So just as you have seen, this is the paper that you are dealing with for this such a year. But you have to be very careful when it comes to quoting the year I've emphasized, because if you quote a year, for example, at 2010, a year that passed maybe many years, again, that is discouraging students. So when you see that the years are many that have passed, this is where you hide the year. You just go direct to the what? When you show, just show the question exactly. I could just show the question, for example. Okay. When you start now, the class is about to start. You haven't gone to your notes. The question we are considering is question number 1. And it is reading. Ask one of the students to do what? To read the question. If anything, make sure if you have a reasonable number, know the names of the students in class and just ask someone, read the question for us. A student to read for you. He says, clearly describe the meaning of the word incorporation and critically discuss some of the salient advantages and disadvantages of using a company as a mode of conducting business activities. This is the question that we want to consider. But for us to consider this question, we may not just go direct. No, we have to get to understand. So let's learn. We want to learn what incorporation means. We will learn in this class how to discuss we'll discuss the advantages. Right in this very class, we will do what? We will talk about the disadvantages of using a company as a mode of conducting a business. So this is what we want to discuss. So I expect you that when we answer this question together today, you should be able to answer this question successively on your own. And the major objective of this class is that at the end of it all, you should be able to answer this question successively and read the question one more time. When you read the question one more time, when you do this, this actually establishes the confidence in students that, oh, we are doing a past paper question, or we are doing a question. So which means what the madam or the sir is going to talk about is not just from the head, it's something that is very serious. This will raise the attention of your students and they will be very careful. They will attend, they'll pay attention. They'll be so attentive as they will be listening to you. And this is very important. When you are quoting the year number, I know these are theories, there are no calculations in this course. Share the question, let them see it on the screen. Not like just reading. I know you can just read it. The question that we are considering, it was there last year, so it was reading. Describe the meaning of word incorporation and critically discuss some of the salient advantages and disadvantages of using a company as a mode of conducting business. You know, just the way how you are reading very fast, number one, it shows that you are not paying attention to whether the students are getting what you are saying. You're not paying attention to the recipient of the information. So teaching is not like telling a poem, okay? This is not telling poems like where you, how should I say it? Where you are just there to, you know, when you're telling a poem, you're just there to offload what you know, you know? You just come to recite everything that you know as if you're telling a poem. It's not about that. You're not there to prove that you know, or you're here to show people that you know or you don't know. No. Have control over the conversation. Yes, this is extremely important. And I do emphasize that you have to pay attention to this. Okay. When that is done, it is important that I've said you share the question on the screen. Then ensure that a question is relevant to the course outline. This is what I was just saying. I've said this when I started, that don't just choose questions anyhow. Okay. Or there are people that say, okay, let's just answer the paper. We just get the paper. You're just answering straight the question. You know, other questions are from the last topic, others from the middle topic, the topic that is in the middle, others are from the topic that is in at the beginning of the course. Don't be that disorganized. Yes. How you answer questions, if you want to answer many questions in class, you can answer maybe 3 questions that are just on one topic, just on sources of finance, sources of law, for example, or in incorporation. Just get maybe different questions, but they are asking the same thing. You show them, for example, in this paper, this question was asked like this. Oh, in this paper, it was also asked like this. In this paper, it was also, but it is about the same thing. Okay. Once you deliver that, you also go to your course outline and tick that you have moved, you have made a step. This is very important, and you need it. I've said deeply prepare answers and engage in the thinking process. Engage the students in the thinking process. If anything, maybe I would recommend one of the better methods of teaching is a student-centered teaching. Engage the students, make sure they are engaged. Ask follow-up questions to see if people are following. Not where the students log in or they start sleeping, they leave the machine or they go somewhere else. No. Ensure that no one leaves and they engage them. This is very important, like engaging them. When you engage them in the thinking process, you may not really start asking them, what do you think about this? What you have not yet taught them. This is where the intelligence has to come in now. You don't ask the people the questions of the things that you have not taught them, because the people that you'll be teaching are usually big people. So they don't want to say things that they don't know, they're not confident about, because people don't want to try out things that they don't know. Okay. But what you can do, you cannot ask the question. You may not ask the question direct. You can ask a question indirect, just to, or restructure a question. Pick what is known about, just anything, what people know about that thing. And then you dive deep, you provide the solution. This is very important. Okay. Of course, on the same student-centered thing, you have to also be looking at the time. We do student-centered when we see that we have enough time. But sometimes when, for example, you're answering the question, is you presenting, you can present, not reading, present, explain, okay? As you are explaining, use real life examples to make sure that you're connecting with real life, so that students can see that these things that this person is talking about, they are practical, okay? Relate to the real life situation, and don't answer maybe too many questions unless they are related. This is what I was just trying to say. not different things. Don't say a lot of things in one class. Too many things that are different are not coherent and they are not connected. I've said that you can restructure the question so that it can be exhaustive of what you want to teach, since you will be using these questions to teach. So you don't just go there to answer exactly what the question is answering and you keep quiet. You can say more things because you are just using that question as a basis of teaching to build confidence in what you're going to be saying or to your students. Okay? And ensure to measure the progress. You can also be testing your students. You can test the students and check if they are understanding. You can do short exercises just to make sure that people are understanding. Short tests, okay? Quizzes, yeah, just those you can do them maybe during the week or what, just to engage them with the work and in the delivery process. This is not exhaustive, I'm aware, but at least these are some of the few tips that I think I can share on the techniques of delivery. Okay, these are the few. I'm asking for questions. Are there any questions? Okay. All right.
Are you still talking?
Okay. Let me reach now on the delivery. That was just how to prepare the lecture. Now you have prepared your lecture, right? Your lecture has been prepared. You are ready for your class. How do you deliver? Okay. How do you now deliver? Ensure that please, when you are delivering, you share the documents on the screen. Let the students be able to see what you are saying. Share the whiteboards. You know, whatever those whiteboards that you're saying, let those things be seen, because there is a close connection between what the eyes see and what the ears hear. This is very important. I have told you this. Ensure to write as you are speaking. So for example, if you are sharing on the screen, or maybe you have nothing to share, this is theoretical work, it's theory. You can share the whiteboard. and at least scribble something, or maybe just share the same question. You can be writing as you are speaking something, just write something, short notes, write something, that captures the attention of the students. And like the screen is just static, nothing is being written, but they are hearing a voice is talking. That will be more like a lullaby, and lastly, they will start sleeping. Students will start sleeping, or the class will be boring. Make sure you engage the student, may the class be lively. And to make the class lively, be a good listener. Always, it's not your show. Like, it's not your environment to show up what you know. No, it's the show of the students. So it is done for them. So it's very important that you intelligently find the means of engaging with them. Yes, find a means of engaging with the students as you are moving. Of course, I'm not saying make it a discussion all the time, because that again may waste the time. These people that have not yet learned these things, they may waste time. I've told you that know when to engage the students, know when to ask them. This is very important. When you are delivering the key points, you can mute. People have their mics mute, deliver the key points first, deliver, then open for questions. You can tell your students not to ask questions until you give them time to ask, and you should be sensitive enough that you should make sure you give time for questions. Maybe whenever you speak for maybe 5-7 minutes straight, get feedback. This is online. 5 minutes straight, get feedback if people are following. When you're done delivering a sense, ask for questions. Each sense that you deliver, find out from the students. And that way, be objective. Make sure when you go to class, you have an objective and you have met your objective. Not you have prepared to deliver this class or answer these questions, maybe 3 questions, and you have just answered only 1. That shows that you're not you're not paying attention to time management yourself again. So just know how to handle class. Let whatever you have prepared finish. But again, don't prepare too much of the work. So as you prepare, make sure you put also time. Consider that there will be the time for students to ask questions. There will be time for students to do this. There will be time to engage the students. There will be time for them to share their views. Put all those things and prepare the work and deliver the work. And again, don't deliver too little because time has gone. That is very important. Open the class systematically. This is how you start the lecture. Open the class in a way that is different. Yeah, that is very attractive. For example, in teaching methods, we learn that you can even, that is anyway in a physical class where you can start with a simple song that is related to what you want to do. But if you don't want to sing that song, you can start by coaching. Since this is higher education, this is university, you may not start singing. What do? You quote. For example, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about company incorporations, right? Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of incorporating a company. This is an example. So for example, how do you start? Just to engage the students, the class has not yet started. You may just create a, quote an event, for example, that you are aware, quote a case. In the year maybe 2015, Chite and Chite were discussing. Others were arguing that it's better to register a company as a sole proprietor. Then others were saying no. The other one was saying it's good to incorporate a company as what? To incorporate the company or to register the business as a limited company, okay, and conduct businesses. It was a very hot debate, okay? It was a very hot debate and people were arguing, but the good part is that each one of them was giving advantages and disadvantages of whatsoever they were saying. This is the introduction I'm giving you. So at the end of it all, it was found out that each one of them settled for at least one type of business entity. So in this class, we want to focus on the advantages and disadvantages of using a company as a mode of conducting business. That's like you have quoted an event. You can even quote a story. This just makes sure, like open a class in a mastery way. though all these things that I'm saying to you, you may not manage to reach at this level like just one day. You have to practice again and again. Just take calm when you start class. Just be in control of the class. Number two, open the class systematically. I've already said that. Side cases, I've already said that. Always before you start teaching, test the sounds, test the screen. Everything that is needed, that needs to be tested. Make sure you test it so that there is what? There is peace. That is very important. If anything, ensure that you always ask one student to give feedback. For example, maybe the class has got 10 people. You cannot just be asking, guys, are you following? Everyone is answering. It will start becoming noisy in class. So you can assign maybe for this specific day, a specific person. Say, Chite, in this class, you will be our respondent. You're going to respond and follow with me when I ask you if the class is following, and if there is people are not able to get me, make sure you do what? You let me know quickly. If I'm logged out, make sure you communicate in this class. The rest of us, we can mute the mics. Anyone who is comfortable, if they say, no, where I am, there is noise or what, let someone who is comfortable, they answer for you. So that you are moving. When you are asking, are you guys able to hear me? At least there should be someone given the responsibility to do what? To answer. This is where I'm making a point of what you saw, what was happening when we just started this session. At some point, I was asking you guys, are you guys following? What happened? Almost no one was responding. Why? Because you never felt that it's your responsibility. You're counting. Now imagine the classes of 10 people. So you have a very quiet class. You can even wait for 5 minutes. No one is responding. But when you charge the responsibility on one person, it helps in speeding up. That is very important. You got that point. Please get that point. But if you haven't done the responsibility given one person again, you can know if the class is small class, you can know the names of people. Check the people who are in class. Call them by name. If you don't want to give one person, you can be finding out, oh, Priska, are you following? Oh, Mary, are you following? Oh, who is this one? Hey, Agnes, are you able to hear me? Oh, John, are you able to hear me? Oh, David, are you able to follow? Like, just like that, every time you can call out the name. That's the other way to make sure that you are getting the feedback. And like just asking generally to everyone, are you able to hear me? No one will answer, or it will take time. You have to be very sensitive in terms of what you say and share, because these classes are usually recorded classes as well. Don't say a lot of your personal issues here. And don't be in a hurry. I've already said that. Make sure, take your time and share the class. Share the conversation with your class. If possible, share the next time's topic. For example, what you're going to be talking about when you close the class. So guys, we have ended here. Next time, we will be talking about this. You can go and research that way. How do you now deliver using Zoom? This was another objective, the second objective we have made with the last one. Is there any question on the second objective? I know these are not exhaustive in terms of the techniques of delivery online, but at least you have gotten an idea. Do I have any question here?
On my end, I don't have a question. I'm clear.
Okay. If that is clear and everyone is fine with that, then we can move on. Let me just give you techniques of delivery. I've said that every time, make sure you record the class. The class should be recorded. And if you are recording, end the video, end the recording before you stop with the class. Whenever you are just done delivering key things, and just record only the necessary things. Don't start recording the class immediately. You just come in, you're still going to greet the people within the same recording. So you have the recording that is very long, but unnecessary, you get. It's very long. You don't need a long recording without much content. So what you do is that when you reach there, there is that time to greet the people, to warm up the audience, just to prepare them, hear how they are faring. Don't just come in class and start presenting as if you don't care for people. Warm up, get feedback from the people, hear how they are faring, hear who is not feeling well, how is everything going on. Like, just warm up. And that's why that can be done in the first 5 minutes of the class. Just make sure that your class is well prepared, people are settled, and everything is fine. That is very important. You need to learn how to do that. And when you start delivering now, the key things, especially when you reach at where you share the question, make sure on the screen you share, you start recording when you're still sharing the page, the question is, so that even the question is there captured in the recording. Every important thing should be captured. When you are done delivering the key things, please stop recording. If you want to get the views from the people, then you can stop recording, or you can pause the recording. There is that provision. You pause the recording so that people can say whatever they are saying and again continue. Now, the only pressure with pausing the recording is that sometimes you end up forgetting continuing recording. So you had recorded up to the middle, then you pause the recording. Then when you wanted to continue, stop this continuing the recording. And then you end like that. You keep on talking. As long as you can manage to do that, the message is that just record what is necessary. When you're closing the class, you stop recording. Then things like the last few things where people are sharing their concerns, what they are thinking, whatever those ideas, what they want you to do next time, those things are not worth recording. So this is very important. You have to learn how to sign in on Zoom because you're going to be given an account. You may be given an account for this for the institution, so that you sign in, not sign up. You download a new Zoom, sign in using the details of the institution so that you are able to record, learn how to record, learn how to share screens, how to share documents, okay? Learn how to do all those things. And please, I emphasize, always plan your class. Don't try to just get into the class and just go there to read for people. Even though those people already know how to read, why should you go there and start reading for people who know how to read? Try, even if you are teaching if qualitative things that involve notes, make your classes intelligent. Let your voice come out, like show understanding, show that you know what you're saying, not that maybe you're also just depending on the notes. And this is very important. It will make the students get attracted to know that, oh, this person is speaking things that are, that are known. Every point connected to the real life, very important. And make sure as you connect, I've already said, keep time, deliver right on time. This recording can be fully understood if you follow it and listen to it several times and then practice. You have to make sure you can be listening to this, if possible, twice in a week, and as you are practicing and delivering, then you get there. I wish you well.